before jets roared into Mascot, majestic flying boats skimmed the waters of Rose Bay. 1938 saw the dawn of a golden age of aviation when Rose Bay became home to Sydney's first international airport, servicing the mighty flying boats, large, luxurious four-engine aircraft that alighted on water. Kangaroo Route. The journey from Sydney to London took 10 days and required 30 refuelling stops along what became famous as the Kangaroo Route. The boats were equipped to carry 15 passengers with 2 aircrew and a staff of 3 stewards. The Qantas sector flew via Brisbane, Townsville, across the Cape York Peninsula, Darwin, over the Timor Sea and across Surabaya and Jakarta before arriving in Singapore. Imperial Airways then took over and flew via Bangkok, Calcutta, Karachi, Alexandria, Basra, Marseille and finally Southampton. With the advent of World War II, flight services were increasingly disrupted and, in 1942, were suspended. The flying boat aircraft were called upon by the RAAF to support the war effort, ferrying supplies and carrying out reconnaissance operations. The Sydney Airport, located in Mascot, was a bull paddock until the early 20th century. In 1919, aviator Nigel Love was looking for a location upon which an aviation company for Sydney could be established. The location in Mascot appealed to him as it was a perfect flat surface, such a surface being the product of its use as a cattle paddock for so long. Love established the Sydney Airport Airfield in 1919 as a private enterprise on a 3-year lease from the Kensington Race Club. The area had been owned by the race club and also featured an adjacent racetrack. Love had a hangar and all the appropriate facilities for a small airfield constructed. Love flew the first plane at the Sydney Airport recreationally in November 1919, and the first official flight, also with Love at the helm, at Mascot, took place in January 1920. The Commonwealth Government acquired Sydney Airport from the racing club following the cessation of Love's lease in 1923. In 1924, regular commercial flights began at the site. From the 1930s, Sydney Airport began its transformation, bringing it to the standards of the time. In 1933, the first gravel runways were constructed. In 1936, the airport's name was changed to Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport in honour of the great aviator Charles Kingsford Smith. During the late 1940s, part of the adjacent Cooks River was built over in order to create more needed space. By 1949, there were 3 runways present, all ranging from 1 to 2 kilometres in length. In 1966, following the decline of passenger ship travel and the subsequent increase in a new global demand for international air travel, the government began construction on an international air terminal. The international terminal at Mascot eventually opened in 1970. Since its humble beginnings as a grass airstrip in 1920, Sydney's airport at Mascot has witnessed some of the most iconic moments in Australian aviation history. In 1933, the first terminal was built, little more than a tin shed. But by the late 1940s, the airport was expanding fast, riding the wave of post-war optimism and global air travel. 1956 saw the arrival of the first jet aircraft, kicking off Australia's jet age. By the 1970s, the airport had become a hub for international flights, with the mighty Boeing 747, affectionately known as the Queen of the Skies, touching down regularly. In 1989, Sydney Airport made headlines when a pilot strike grounded nearly all domestic flights for weeks, yet within days, military planes and chartered foreign aircraft kept the country moving, Mascot buzzing in ways no one expected. Then, in 2000, all eyes were on Sydney for the Olympic Games. With over 1.5 million passengers in September alone, the airport operated like clockwork, handling the pressure with true Aussie resilience. In 2007, a second runway, built on reclaimed land in Botany Bay, helped ease traffic and open the skies even further. Today, Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport is the busiest in the country, handling over 40 million passengers a year, and still evolving. From vintage flying boats to international super jumbos, the tarmac at Mascot tells the story of how far we've come, and just how far we're ready to go. From humble water landings To one of the world's busiest international airports, Sydney's flight story is one of vision, innovation, and evolution. And with a new airport rising in the west, the skies above Sydney are only getting busier. Got memories of flying in or out of Sydney? Drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more journeys into Australia's past, present, and future.